Newcastle United are 90 minutes away from Champions League qualification and the best season of my lifetime as a Newcastle fan, and as most of your lifetimes as Newcastle fans too. So, will we do it? Let's find out right here on Toon Tactics TV, folks.
Oh, brilliant from Shea. And now Murphy can take on the shot. Fabian Shea
All right, all right, all right. How are you all doing? I hope you're all blessed and had a great day and having a great evening, no matter what you're doing. Maybe you've just finished a shift. Maybe you're about to go on a night shift. Maybe you're just trying to get yourself to sleep and you need to hear someone talking some Toon news to you. Whatever you're doing and whatever you are, you're doing it here with me on Toon Tactics TV. And you could have been anywhere in the world, but you're here with me, folks. So God bless you all. It's great to have you on. And like me, if you've got your coffee, like I do, or have a drink next to you, buckle up. We're going to have a great show tonight. And we're going to be, as always, folks, do come in. You're always welcome to come in the chat and share your views and opinions. Because on tonight's show, we're going to be doing the big, big game preview. I had to say it 3 times because this game couldn't get any bigger. But I'm very confident in terms of what the team's going to do, what the fans are going to do to make sure we get over the line. So we're going to be doing a tactical breakdown for the Everton game. Plus, we're going to be reading a few of the recent reports, particularly from Mark Douglas from the newspaper, and doing some scouting reports on maybe one, maybe two players. One of them being a new name in terms of from the defensive side of things, Jorel Hato, who up to now I haven't really paid attention to just because there's been so many other teams that have been mentioned alongside him, and Newcastle weren't one of them, but now they are. We'll take a look at him, but also going to take a closer look at Mr. Ilyas Zabani, the other defender at Bournemouth. Dean Huijsen has been grabbing all the headlines, but there was a comment I saw on X, and somebody said every time I watch Bournemouth to kind of look at Dean Huijsen, and my attention ends up being drawn to Zabani. And I kind of feel the same sometimes as well. So we're going to be taking a little bit closer look at him, some really good scouting reports, and we're going to be talking about him as well. But we're going to kick things off with the game itself. And already we've got folks in the chat. Aaron Cave, good to see you, sir. God bless you. I hope you are well. Good evening, Philip. Hope you are well. Living life to the full, sir. I am living life to the full. I've got myself a more simpler setup today because last time the camera, the sound, everything was absolutely horrendous, and you guys were absolutely terrific staying with me throughout that period, even creating your own show whilst I was away sorting things out. So I was really happy about that. I was really proud of that. All right, so let's get on to Tottenham. Now, not to Tottenham. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Tottenham. I was thinking, why am I thinking of Tottenham? Congratulations to Tottenham for you winning the Europa League. I was cheering the Spurs on against Man United because obviously I don't know how many of other Toon fans feel this way, but for any club apart from some that has experienced trophy drought and has been bantered from pillar to post by top 4, top 6 clubs, I naturally have a very affiliation to those clubs. And obviously, you guys would see me also on Spurs Kings Rival Show with Ashmatic, with Mr. Boxer, Office, with Jay, with Deji, with all the Tottenham guys, but also so I naturally have a very a liking for Tottenham fans and all the other guys. So congratulations to you guys. You, like us, with the bird on your crest and everybody else, us, you guys, Crystal Palace, and Liverpool, but obviously Liverpool aren't trophy drivers, but they've all got the bird on their crest. But the added to the fact that we've all broken our ducks recently, especially when it comes to trophy. Congratulations to you guys, and it was really good to see you guys celebrating and the fans and everything else. I have some understanding of what that feels like. So congratulations to you guys. All right, so got a few guys more in the chats. We're gonna, like I said, we're gonna be doing Everton. I keep on saying Tottenham now. Everton breakdown, and we're going to be doing some scouting reports as well. Aaron Kane, Hato is absolutely quality. Well, if you know what, I haven't seen him play just yet, so I'll be really, really keen to get your views on him, Aaron. Quality left centre back who can play left back, has good qualities and flexibility. Would be beneficial considering the games we may have next year. I did read a brief. Some of the stuff that I saw was that he'll be very suitable at those positions that you mentioned, but for teams that play uh, overlapping left backs, but also left backs that invert and go into the midfield. So let me know if you kind of agree with that. Oh, sorry. You also said I missed that. He has good quality and flexibility, beneficial considering the games we may have next year. Yes, I absolutely agree with that. And we don't have another left back. I don't count Matt Target as that. He's not our rotational left back by any means of the imagination as of lately, which is a shame. Aaron Kane, Spurs winning, us winning, Palace winning, the year of the underdogs, 100%. 100%. It's been the year of the underdog. So speaking of essentially getting it over the line, we need to get it over the line against Everton. And typically, and let me make sure you guys can see this. Yes, you can. Now, typically, when I when I when I go on these things, I usually go on FOTMob, for instance, and I'll go on Everton, and the reason why I look at the general stats. The reason why I'm hesitant to do this, and I don't want to do this for Everton, I feel like it's almost not a waste of time, but not the beneficial side, just because David Moyes took over from Sean Dyche the game before he played us. I think that was in January. And so I feel like some of these stats are skewed. And when I was reading the reports of how Moyes has changed things and tweaked things, I feel like reading these stats will be a bit skewed in terms of where and how Everton are. But I will mention, though, actually, when we're looking at Everton, we're going to have a little bit more of a breakdown. And what I do want to note, though, before I move on from that point, though, in terms of FOTMob, is their main players and their main danger men. And, top scorer, Ilman Ndeye with 9 goals, Beto with 8 goals, and Dwight McNeil 4 goals. But their key contributors being obviously Dwight McNeil with 10 goals and assists, Ndeye with 9 goals and assists, and Beto with 8 goals. And Dwight McNeil leading on the assist line. Very interestingly is that Beto's having a bit of a revival year. Obviously, he had a real big loss of confidence playing under Dyche, and it was visible when I think he scored. Like he went on a bit of a scoring run with Everton when Moyes took over, and I remember like the I don't know if you guys remember, there was an interview after one of the games, and like he was visibly visibly a bit emotional about what he's been through. So I thought that was interesting. So Moyes obviously is in there doing a good job. Now we're gonna see on SofaScore their form in the last 10 games, but in the last 5 games, make sure you guys can see that. Yeah, you can. In the last 5 games, they've won 2, the last 2, but that being Southampton and Fulham. They drew against Ipswich Town, and they lost against Chelsea. I watched that game, and Everton did all they could to help Chelsea win that game, I felt. And obviously they lost to Man City 2-0 in April, and obviously they got us next. They've scored 41 goals this season, which isn't great, but they've only conceded 44, which is 2 less than us, which is interesting. With the -3 goal difference, they've won 10 games, drawn 15, and one of them was against us, so obviously away at Goodison Park. One of the few 0-0 draws that we had. and we missed a penalty there via Gordon. And 12 losses. They've experienced 12 losses. Um, Going into, I'm going to go into Sofa Score. There's a couple of interesting things I want to say about Everton before we move on. This is not Everton, this is us. So let me make sure you guys can see that. Is that you can? So Everton. Because I'm gonna look at a couple of things in terms of just a little bit how they changed under Moyes. There's a few articles on that. And look at some pass maps and what they've been doing a little bit different under Moyes. But I wanted to know because SofaScore does have their last. And as people say, when we're talking about psychology, are they on the beach or what? They're very safe. They're 45 points this season. They're not going to get into Europe. And so they had that big old emotional farewell at Goodison Park when they beat Southampton 2-0. Very emotional. All their big legends from the past came on, and there's a few people that are leaving. The Corey, his contract runs out, so I'd be interested to see if he plays. Seamus Coleman, another one. Would be interesting to see if he plays with the risk injury with no contract, or I don't know what in terms of how they're going to go going forward. Branthwaite came off of a hamstring injury, so that's him and Tarkowski away as well. So it's going to be interesting to see. And I wonder what you guys think. What sort of lineup Everton are going to be preparing for this game? Is how strong is it? Are they going to be playing their academy players? But in terms of their form in the last 10 games, we just looked at their last 5 games. So they've drawn 4 games, they've lost 3, and they won 3. So very mixed bunch there. They drew against Wolves 1-1, drew against West Ham 1-1, lost to Liverpool. We're going to look at that Liverpool game a little bit because I do like to look at teams who have a similar playing style to us to kind of see how they do. They drew to Arsenal. I suspect Arsenal had a focus on Champions League. They beat Nottingham Forest 1-0, and Nottingham Forest are going for a bad patch. Man City beat them at Everton 2-0. Again, Chelsea, like I mentioned before, Chelsea beat them 1-0. Again, Chelsea weren't great in that game. And like I said, Everton did everything they could to help them win. They drew to 2-2 with Ipswich Town before beating Fulham 3-1 and beating Southampton 2-0 at Goodison Park. So some relatively positive form. They've won the last 2 games, as I mentioned. So they'll be coming into this game fairly confident. There's a couple interesting articles I wanted to look at. So there's one from The Athletic, which is less kind of tactical compared to the Premier League one that I'm going to show. And it basically explains about how what Moyes has done for Everton since taking over from Sean Dyche. Let me just see if I can. And this article was back in April the 2nd, 2025 by Patrick Boyland. And he literally, what it essentially was saying is that Moyes didn't come and kind of totally rip up the map, but he was paying a little bit more attention to detail. He was given a bit more time on the training ground and is given individual care and attention to players. But he was also encouraging his attackers to attack. He was encouraging your more flair players like Ndeye, McNeil, even Jack Harrison, and those guys to take the ball on more, to dribble more, to get more crosses in, to get more shots in, and they've been doing that. So he kind of boosted their confidence. So you kind of seen a bit of an uptick in their attacking output, but he's also kept them resolute in terms of their defense, how they are defensively. So we will see that as well. So that's been really, really really wise from him in terms of how he's come in and he's just tweaking a few things. And it says him in this article, revitalizing the failing Everton attack. One of Moyes' early priorities was improving Everton's fortunes in front of the goal. They failed to score in 8 of their 10 games before Dyche. And it talks about how the decision was to make training sessions much longer. We talked about that. He held private conversations with players, like Beto being one of them, kind of really, really boosted him up. Many players noted his extra attention. You see that in his kind of pre-match programs and all the other stuff. They noticed since he came back to Everton 20 or so years later, he's mellowed out a little bit, but he's still very, very passionate. The striker Beto and winger Jack Harrison are two players who are struggling on the Dyche but improved under Moyes, and you do see that obviously. Beto with 8 goals this season, and you've seen Beto playing a lot more because of obviously Mr. Calvert-Lewin's been injured. So Moyes has tasked. We're going to see this in terms of Moyes has tasked his wingers with getting more crosses into the box. So again, when we're thinking about Newcastle in terms of where the threats are going to come from Everton in terms of their in terms of their strengths, Moyes has tasked his wingers with getting more crosses into the box, but then also leaves us opportunities in terms of gaps in behind. Before his knee injury, Ilman Ndeye, who's now back, obviously this is in April, was told to dribble more, and he's been doing that. Those behind the strike have been given more freedom to attack. The Corey and Beto. It'll be interesting to see if the Corey plays. Support the lone forward and concentrate in areas which they excel. The message has been to play to their individual strength. So he's given them the authority to be themselves. And you can see that in the all non-penalty shots in the Premier League. And you can see that essentially the red shows where most of their goals have come from and where their shot quality has been. And you can see that the smaller circles are the low quality chances, and the bigger the circle becomes, that's not red, that's non-goals, but it's the higher the quality chances. And you can see from this, let me just zoom in because you might not be able to see it. Can you see that? You can see it, but maybe I can zoom in a little bit more. And make sure I zoom in a little bit more. So you can see where Everton's attacks are, and the penalty box is a big, big, big part of their attack. And you'll see that set pieces, I think they scored 45% of their goals from set pieces, so corners, free kicks. So again, the best thing Newcastle can do is avoid giving away silly fouls and stuff like that to help win the game. And you can see from where the red dots are, literally within the most of Everton's goals are within the penalty box, right into the 6-yard line of the goal. You can see the 16.7 yards distance, so they're well within that. So as long as Newcastle keep them out of the box, they should be very, very fine. And even the high quality chances, which they do miss, are all in and around the box, and most of them are in the air. Total shots 216, right foot shots 98, left foot shots 67, and headers 49. So you can see all of that there. That was on the Dyche. So that was on the Dyche, right? Sorry, I didn't mention. I should have mentioned at the beginning. So that was the low quality shots on the Dyche. And the Moyes, now you can see that you've gone from 16.2 average, 16.7 average distance in terms of goals to now 14.2 yards in terms of where most of their shots are happening. So what that is saying to us is that they're getting into the box a lot more. They're having more touches into the box, and that's because they're encouraging their wingers to be more dynamic, to continue to be dynamic, to be themselves, to get into the box, to get their crosses in, and that's what's happening. The way they're shooting and what they're doing is still, their mainstream is still set pieces and everything else. But you can see this reduction, a little bit of reduction here in terms of headed goals, and a lot more around their shooting. And that could be because obviously Moyes has only had 10 games after this period of time. But again, you can see the quality of shots compared to Mr. Sean Dyche, who's who's essentially just he's having to be is the distance is a lot further back and less in comparison to what Moyes is doing, where you can see goals are happening even just on the edge of the penalty box as well. So you can see he's encouraging them to shoot more, he's encouraging them to cross more, he's encouraging them to be themselves and kind of be more dynamic. And you've seen that, hence why there's been an upturn. So significantly, shot accuracy has improved from 29% to 43%. The big chances have almost doubled, as is of the map, by 1.5, from 1.5 to 3, as Everton's big chance conversion rate from 21% to 41% has come. That's really, really incredible what Moyes has done. Eking out more from better has helped, but this upturn in fortune. So he's really, really improved their attack. And a move away from Dyche ball and more counters. And what this is essentially talking about, and Tarkowski talks about it as well, is where under Dyche, Everton were very, very, very direct. So essentially, as soon as the centre backs got the ball, they wouldn't even look at their midfielders. They'll just boot it straight to their attackers and try and create havoc that way. Whereas Moyes has encouraged his forwards to take a little bit more time on the ball, pass it to the midfield if you can. And actually, interestingly, their passing sequences, meaning the amount of passes they have has risen up to 9 to 10. So before they reach the other opponent's half, where before it was maybe 1, 2, 3, and boot to the other end, is gone to now 9 to 10 passing sequences before they reach the opponent's half. Interestingly, Newcastle have an average of 9 to 10 passing sequences themselves. So you can see that Moyes has really encouraged his players to be a lot more, and his defenders in particular, to be a lot more confident on the ball. But a key part of that has been Mr. Branthwaite. And he's now injured because of his ability on the ball. Excuse me, not Branthwaite. Well, Branthwaite, but also they talk about Jake O'Brien, who got a hamstring injury. One notable change has seen Jake O'Brien, and he's massive, into the side as a hybrid right back, third central defender. Moyes has been impressed with the Irishman's performance in Everton's cup win over Peterborough, and had toyed with the idea of playing him straight away against Villa. That game proved to be too early. So for a change, and O'Brien's introduction helped Everton in and out of possession, bringing them composure, particularly on the ball. Now he's injured, so it'll be interesting to see what they do with that. Others like Alcaraz have also helped them as well, kind of in terms of what they're doing. But tactically, and before I move on tactically, I've got good to see Bobby Fairview here. God bless you, sir. Big Sunday for you. In fact, big. When is Chelsea playing? You guys playing tomorrow in the final? When is your final against Betis? Is it tomorrow? Bless up, Philip. I hope that everyone is doing well. Yes, sir. Very, very well. And it's good to see you. Luca talks ball. Good to see you, sir. God bless you. How are you? Living life to the full. Living life to the full, sir. Wobo Joe, good to see you. God bless you, sir. Phil, what did I miss? Thoughts on the last night's results? Yeah, look, I don't know how you feel about it, Wobo Joe being an Arsenal fan, but yeah, I congratulated Tottenham. Had a natural affiliation with underdogs and folks that haven't won cups for many years. So I naturally kind of gave my support to them and was happy to see them win, and I can relate to it. But yeah, essentially we're just kind of breaking down Everton, just talking about how they've improved under Moyes, how he's just given really subtle changes to them, encouraging and boosting the confidence of their players, especially their attacking players, encouraging their attacking players to be individual, to play to their strengths. Your Indays, your Jack Harrisons, your Dwight McNeil's, your Betos. You just are saying to them, be yourselves and be the best version of yourselves. And so that's seen an upturn in their shot quality, in the way they attack, in also their ability on the ball. So they play out the back a lot more through their defenders, although their defenders are injured in this game, like Jake O'Brien and Tarkowski. So it'll be interesting how they do. I don't think they'll change. I think they'll still be encouraged to play out the back. But that could play into our hand as well. I was just getting onto the tactical aspect a little bit about how they are playing before I get to the tactical board itself and see where Newcastle can go from here. Well, actually, I wanted to show their passing map before I got onto that as well. But essentially, Everton playing a 4-2-3-1. And there was something I wanted to show about that. Let me make sure you guys can see this. This is from the Premier League. I can't remember who wrote this article. Oh, Alex Kebble. So it talks about how Everton changed their tactics essentially, and he mentions, Tarkowski talks about it. We've tried to control the game a bit more. So he's talking about from a defensive aspect. You can see them playing out a bit more passes attempted under Dyche and compared to passes attempted under Moyes. So they went from 385 under Dyche to 468 under Moyes against Villa. So interesting. Touches in the middle third under Dyche, 200 to compare to 250 under Moyes. So again, he's encouraged his players to be more comfortable on the ball, to play on the ball, but also take-ons. So there's a lot less take-ons under Dyche compared to Moyes. You can see this here. You see the green lines dotted around everywhere. So it's a lot more under Moyes. Now this was in when was this tactic? This report was in January 2025. He played us next actually after this, and I thought that we had a good away performance, though people weren't happy with the result. I get why. It was 0-0 and missed the penalty. They weren't happy with Gordon. But these things happen. Gordon will have an opportunity to set things straight this Sunday. So they're playing a 4-2-3-1. You can see the two pivot midfielders who screen the back line, but then also joining the attacks when they can. And you can see the left wing attacking midfielder, right winger, and supporting the forwards. I'll show on the tactical board in terms of how I think that will be laid out as well. But they are a better offensive outfit. So, for instance, this is them how they line up against under Moyes. Under Dyche, I think. And then let me see this actually. I have to look at the routine to make a shift. Where did they say here? So asking for patience in possession comes with risks, and it's probably no coincidence that Everton also made 3 errors leading to a shot against Villa. So that was when they first started out. So this is where Newcastle can take the advantage. If Everton are going to be trying to maintain this a little bit more possession and comfortability, if we force Chelsea into an error, and Chelsea are far better than Everton on the ball, and so we were able to score from that. So that's something I think we can capitalize on, especially in the first 15-20 minutes of the game if Everton want to play out the back. Moyes wanted to up the attacking threat even without changing the shape. Everton lined up in a 4-2-3-1 formation against Villa, and so a little time to train arriving. So that they probably would have got better. Abdul Doucouré continues a makeshift number 10, so he's the attacking mid for them. Big, strong, decent ball carrier as well. Scores goals and assists for them. Dominic Calvert-Lewin came in injured. I don't know who will be playing. I think it's going to be Beto probably playing. Broyhill is injured as well for this game as well. So that's how they lined up, and they lined up in a not too dissimilar fashion against Villa. And this is the final quote from Moyes here. So speaking from that, again, we encourage them to get more into the box and get people into the box more often, which they have been doing. Get more shots, get more crosses. He said that game, we obviously need to double those numbers, and double those numbers they have. Everton amassed an expected XG of 1.14 against Villa, which is not easy. We know about that, especially against Villa. The 5th highest total of the season, and also attempted 20 crosses. 20 crosses, a lot. The 6th most. However, their shot count, 10, and the total 6 chances created did not compare favorably to their season averages. So this is very much early on. This is in January. So I think they've improved since that time. And obviously the next game was against us. And I think we continue to limit their chances. And fun enough that we were going through a bit of a patch ourselves during that time. So that's interesting. Before I go to the tactical board, I'll go to the chat in a moment, but I wanted to show a couple of things about how Everton are utilizing, how they're passing, what Moyes is trying to help them to do. I'll show quickly in terms of how they pass when they're confident, like against Southampton, and I'll also be able to show how they are when they are playing against better quality of a position, which is what I think we will be for them when they play us. So, but before this is them against Southampton, who obviously weren't that great. So I'll get into that in a moment. So let me see what you guys are saying in the chat first. Where are you? Where are you? Here we go. Wobo Jog. I'm international fan. International fan. Spurs is a spicy West Ham to me. It's Chelsea and Man United, who are true gremlins to me. Fair play. Happy for Son, to be honest, and kind of feel bad for Kane. He could have been a part of this. Well, he just won the Bundesliga. I wouldn't feel too bad for him. Yeah, international. Fair play, Wobblejog. Well, Naya, good to see you, sir. God bless you. Everton are incredibly unpredictable under Moyes. Well, you're right on that, because literally we looked at the last 10 games. I can't remember all of them, but I think they won 3, drawn 3, lost 3. I can't remember what the 4th or the 10th one was. But yes, they're in better form, though, overall, than they were compared to Dyche. But yes, they are unpredictable. I wanted to show this passing lane. So when everything was flowing for Everton, this is obviously them at Goodison Park in their last game against Southampton. The emotions, the tears, wanting to make sure they give a good performance in their last game at Goodison Park and playing against the worst team in the league. And so this looks really good. The average positions of their players, they're really high up. Dwight McNeil, again, we talked about how Moyes has been encouraging his individual players who are individually really, really good. Like Dwight McNeil, who's got the highest goal contributions in the team, to kind of really be attacking and flaring. Seamus Coleman, out of all people, is right next to him in the opposition half here. You can see in the average positions, obviously Beto, but the Corey right next to him with Ndiaye on the other side. So essentially, they've got like 5 guys if you count Jason Garner in the opposition half. But you can do that against Southampton. So the average positions are really, really good. But also, you can see that for those that haven't seen the passing lanes before, the thicker the lines, the more frequency there is in terms of frequency of passing between those individual players. So, for instance, between Pickford and Branthwaite, throughout 90 minutes, there's been 16 passes between them, with 6 coming from Branthwaite to Pickford, and 10 coming from Pickford to Branthwaite, which is a positive sign. So they're not really passing back; they're really passing forward the majority of the time, which goes with the idea of what Moyes has been saying in terms of his teams his players being more comfortable on the ball and passing a little more. And they talked about this in the final third as well. So in the middle part of the pitch, where the lines are really thick. So in between Ndiaye and Gay, who's in their central midfield, 17 passes between them. Between Garner and Branthwaite, 15 passes between them. Between Garner and Mikalenko, who's obviously their left back, 13 passes between them. So you can see that they are becoming more comfortable and more confident in terms of using the ball more. You're not seeing big lines just going straight to the keeper. In fact, if I see how many times has Pickford tried to pick out, I can't see Pickford. Is there any passes from Pickford to any the forwards? No, there isn't. Branthwaite, who's one of their better players on the ball, excuse me, is that Branthwaite? Jake O'Brien, excuse me, one of their players on the ball, who I think has got a hamstring, won't be available. Has made 3 passes throughout the game to McNeil. McNeil, who's right up there, his main person he received the ball from has been Gay. So you can see that it is exactly what they're saying, which is them kind of being a lot more comfortable with the ball and being less direct, i.e., their centre backs or their goalkeeper just kicking it straight to their players. Their midfield players are far more involved. You can see how high their wing backs are, or their full backs are in Seamus Coleman and Mikalenko, and they're creating these triangles as well, and they just kind of dominate the midfield in those ways. Now that's against Southampton at Goodison Park in your final game when it's all going for you, right? It's going to be different at St. James's Park. The other game I wanted to show before I went to Liverpool, I wanted to show them against Chelsea, again, slightly better opposition. This is Everton away from home. So let me find that first, and before I show it to you guys. And this is the game where I feel like Everton, as I said, I feel like Everton really, really did their best to help Chelsea win. And to be fair, look, they would have been that really was Everton on the beach, and Chelsea only managed to win 1-0. Now I use the Chelsea game because Chelsea are one of the highest in terms of possession type of teams. They're better on the ball, and I wanted to show how Everton react when they're playing against teams who are better on the ball as well. But I can already see a few folks in the chat. Where am I? I lost where I am. Here I am. Got a few folks in the chat. Make sure we say hello and good evening to folks. Oh wow, chat's really blown up. Mighty Mag, good to see you, sir. God bless you. Evening, Philip. Hope you're well. I'm very well, guys. I'm very happy to see you. Guys, do give me your score predictions from now for the Everton game. I want to see how confident people are feeling about this game. Send in your scorelines. Send in your scorelines. Adrian Pickett, good to see you, and God bless you, sir. I'm not scumbagging to this fear of Everton that's going around. Yeah, and we shouldn't. Respect for sure, but let's have them exactly. And one of the things I was going to talk about was really about how on the day, and we've been amazing. I'm going to go back to, but I want to, in terms of just the fans and everything else, people are going to be on their radios and their phones looking at other people's score lines. And I can imagine if Chelsea or someone goes 1-0 up in the first minute or so, you can imagine people getting, if I was there, God willing, I would be more next year. I wouldn't even bother looking at the other games, and I wouldn't want to know it. Just for all that matters is Newcastle. They'll be looking at, for them, the important scoreline for them is Newcastle, because essentially it's in our hands. And we've been very good in terms of handling high pressure situations so far this season. We won the League Cup final. We beat Chelsea in that 6-pointer essentially a couple of games ago. It's been moments where we've really had to show that we're focused, especially after, for instance, after the League Cup win. I think we beat Brentford, I want to say, and people were wondering if we're going to drop off. We didn't drop off. So I fully expect the players to be focused, and that's down to the fans play a big part in that as well. So because the fans have been backing them as well, so it's going to be the same thing. It's just holding our bottle, holding our nerves. That's what it's going to be about. Make a great point there, Adrian. Magical fluid process. First time seeing you in the chat. Forgive me if you've been here before, but great to have you on. God bless you. I can't see us getting anything off. I can't see us getting anything off you guys. Are you Everton fan? Let me know if you think, because I think it is who's going to be fit. Because if you are Everton fan, I think Jacob Bryan's got hamstring injury. Tarkowski's not available. I'll be curious to know. Do you think Seamus Coleman is going to play? I'll be really who do you like? Do you think you're going to be playing? Who do you think you're going to be playing? I'd be really interested to see what you think. Jog, don't think trying to match Everton physically is the right choice. Your midfield has the tech floor to play around them, especially if Isak is fit and Winger can stretch out the back line, in my opinion. But that's a really interesting point. We're going to be talking about that in the tactical breakdown, actually. Queen of Fire, good to see you. God bless you. Good evening, Philip. Good evening to you. Good evening, all. Everton have a chance to do unpredictable. Could that be detriment if Newcastle don't get off to a positive start on Sunday? Good question. I think we will get on a positive start on Sunday. And we just kind of share what Adrian was saying earlier. I think Everton will go. My mindset is more like Everton got to worry about us, and that's just not because Everton, but just anybody. And they haven't got anything to play for either. And even if they are up for it, I'm taking them at their best. My mindset is that it's all about Newcastle and what we do, rather than what and kind of us enforcing our will on the game as well. And I think we can do that, to be honest. So, but let me know what you think. What would you say, Queen of Heart? What's your mindset? What's your mind saying? I do think the first 15 minutes is going to be crucial, and I think we'll be more than kind of be ready for it. You are Everton. Good to have you on the show, and God bless you, sir. Most welcome, Magical Fluid process. Welcoming guys. Hey, MM, we've got a good taste. Thank you, Queen of Heart. Appreciate you. We did not. So Magical Fluid we did not play particularly well against Southampton. Yeah, that was a really emotional game. I felt it watching it as well. Brantford is injured. Okay, he is. Tarky's injured. Our defense is seriously weakened. So there's an opportunity there for us. Do you think the Corey will play? Because I think he's leaving, isn't he? So I'll be interested to know if he's going to play. Like, Seamus Coleman, like, because those guys, I think they're leaving now, I think. Onaya, those injuries for Everton are what's giving me pause. Wounded animal comes to mind. Wow. What wounded animal is when like you've got nowhere to turn type of it. I don't know. And then you've got something to fight for. But I hear what you're saying. How's your attacking doing? It's improved. I can tell you that from what I'm reading. It's improved, Mighty Mag. Their attacking has improved. I don't know. But yeah. Aaron Kane, Everton can have all the injuries, but if Wilson starts and this can't make the game, that's a problem for us. Interesting. Mighty Mag, my head drops when I see Wilson on the pitch. Set plays may be key for Everton, they are, but they have got better on the ball under Moyes as well. Queen of Heart, I have said 2-1. Oh, yes, thank you, Queen of Heart, for sending your score predictions, guys. I did I encourage you guys to send in your score predictions. I want to gauge how confident you guys are about the game. I have, or what you guys think will happen, essentially. I have said 2-1, but this is all for the taking, completely up for the grabs. Everton can take it to Newcastle completely, whilst equally have it all to game for, lose dependent on how they start. Okay, interesting. Magical says, no Seamus, no Brantford, no Tarky. We still have Michael Keane. I'm not sure if Brian is fit. I think he is. Oh, so you think Brian is fit? I thought he had a hamstring injury. Any young prospect? Okay, asking him. Okay, yeah. Onaya, nervy 3-1. Yes. I'll take it. So we showed earlier the passing maps against Southampton, and you can see how when Everton are in full flow, their fullbacks push up, they're playing the ball more in the final thirds. They have better passing sequences, 9 to 10 now, which is similar to us actually. So it shows that they got confidence in their build-up play, and Moyes has done really, really well in encouraging them to be far more attacking. But let's see how things are when they play slightly better opposition. We're going to go to Chelsea, then we're going to go to Liverpool, and we'll do a tactical breakdown. Let me see. So this is Chelsea. Can you guys see this? Yes, you can. All right. So this is Chelsea. Where's the passing map? Here we go. Chelsea, who put, I think, top 3, top 4 in terms of possession in the league. So this is the away. So Chelsea, let me see Chelsea first. So Chelsea were the home team. Didn't have a great game. So, but they've got nearly how many players in the opposition half? What? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 2, 4, 5, 6. About 6 players in the opposition half, which isn't bad. Passing lanes, they try to pass, especially around the left. You can see the thick of the lines again. the more you can see that that's where they kind of focus their attacks through Madueke, for instance. So they kind of, a lot of passing in the middle third. So they had a lot of possession. You can see that. So how did Everton respond? Well, those thick lines that you saw in the middle for against Southampton suddenly have decreased quite a bit there. I think, though still there, you can still see Gahey getting the ball, getting onto the ball a lot more, but less passing in between players when the opposition is pressing them. They have less time on the ball and they make a few more mistakes and they have kind of less dominance. You can see them relying on their wings. And they had to drop in here with Makalenko, pushing up. So you can see their fullbacks are really, really pushing up still. So they're still attempting in terms of their average positions to kind of have that kind of territorial dominance. So you can see on Makalenko on one side, and you can see Patterson on the other side. So make sure just keeping Chelsea honest whilst their midfield packed out with Garner, Gay, Ndiaye, and Decore dropping in a little bit there, allowing Beto and Harrison to push up a little bit. But you can see the lines are thin in there. So they had a lot less touches on the ball there. But you can still see some attacking intent there from Everton. The more thicker lines are between O'Brien and Pickford, passing the ball between each other, and Branthwaite and Pickford as well. So you can see that Chelsea did a decent job in terms of pressing up against them and ensuring that Everton weren't able to have like possession in the final third as much. And you can see obviously they backed them up quite a bit there. But still Everton had a good go. The last kind of game I wanted to show was Everton versus Liverpool. And again, this is in April the 2nd though. So, and Liverpool, like I said, we have a similar playing style to Liverpool. We typically like to play a 4-3-3, though I don't think we're playing a 4-3-3. They're going to be high intensity, right up. We know how they play, winning the ball in the final third. Now Everton were away. So I'm going to show. This is at Anfield. This is Liverpool's passing up. Totally different to Chelsea's, by the way. So you can see this is from left to right. Kelleher in goal, all the way up to the front here with Diogo Jota. You've got like how many Liverpool players in Everton's half? Wow, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Liverpool are crazy. They've got 8. They've got 8 players in Everton's half here. Seriously intense with Van Dijk and Konate and Kelleher, obviously the triangle there. And you can see them in their average positions pushing up with Robertson on the left, Jones on the right, keeping that width with the 3 midfielders in the middle, McAllister, Szoboszlai and Gravenberch taking that territorial dominance. But also technically better players. You can see how thick the lines are here. You can see the distribution between, for instance, McAllister and Diaz, 18 passes between them. Where's McAllister? McAllister and you've got Szoboszlai and Robertson, 7 passes. But McAllister, I'm trying to get McAllister's lines. It's harder to get his. I'll go into Szoboszlai because I can't get more McAllister's. Szoboszlai and Diaz, who's the furthest up, one of the furthest up. 7 passes between them. Who's this? Gravenberch, who's pushed up 20 passes between him and Mo Salah, obviously. Jones, they're trying to get Salah to break Henry's record. But you can see Jones pushing up here. Jones, 27 passes between him and Mo Salah. But you can see how incredibly thick those lines are there. And you can see the average positions. They're pushing up right up into Everton's half. So how has this caused Everton to respond? Playing away at Anfield. Well, for the folks that have seen this all through, this isn't my computer breaking up. This is what happens when Everton play a team in Liverpool who are pressing up against them, but also have the technical qualities. Beto hasn't got one pass from anybody. So this is from right to left. So Pickford here in the number 1, Beto here in number 14. There's no passing lane. There's no pass to him from any of the front three. And the line in the middle the lines in the middle are totally thin. So the passing between Garner and O'Brien, who's trying to do his best to push up, is only 4. Between Alcaraz and Gahey's 8 passes. There's literally Garner hasn't been able to get the ball off to Harrison at all. And Mikalenko, even though he's trying to push up, he's totally isolated. Nobody's able to get the ball up to him whatsoever. So I wanted to show that to explain what I think Newcastle are going to be doing in this game. I think Eddie Howe is going to take a very offensive stance in this game, in my opinion. And I think the key to this game is for Newcastle to take the game to Everton, in my opinion, and take the territorial dominance via average positions, but also take the dominance in terms of having technical quality on the ball. So I'm going to go to the tactical breakdown on the board, tactical map on the board. Before I do that, let me just see what you guys are saying in the chat. What do you guys think so far? Would you take a high intensity approach against Everton? Would you want to try and play them on the counter? Would you go out? What would you guys think is the best approach? Adrian Pickett, thank you for sending in your score prediction 4-2 to the Toon. That'll be a tipsy-turvy game for sure. Team of the team season. My first time seeing you in the chat. Welcome to the channel and God bless you, sir. For me, it's not about Sunday, it's about the summer, because if we just go waste money on the players from teams worse than us, we will fail again in Europe. Villa signed top European players risk, but worked. Well, they're on the same points as us, though. So when you say worked, and they haven't won anything this season, although I still think they had a decent campaign in terms of what they did in Europe. They got to the semi-finals of the FA Cup and stuff, but after all of that, they're still on the same path as us. I think there's more than one way to skin a cat. I'm going to go back to what you said about it's not about Sunday. For me, I think it's all about Sunday, because that is going to answer your later question, team season, and that is the fact that if Newcastle do reach the Champions League qualification, which I think we will be able to buy those better quality players. And I think just because players play in relegation teams, it doesn't mean they're not any good. Robertson played for Hull. I think they were relegated before he went to Liverpool, for instance, as an example. And look what's turned out to be there. You can still find gems, even in teams that aren't necessarily really good. But it's a really interesting take, though, and I'll be interested to get you what you think the scoreline will be against Everton as well. But welcome to the channel, sir. I think you're talking amongst yourselves. The Adrian Pickett, and another question. Yes. Oh, Adrian Pickett, and another question from Magical. Has the ill feeling towards Gordon softened? Very good question, Magical. I'd love to hear a response. Wobojog, PS, you need to get an ad blocker, my friend. I need to get an ad blocker. Oh, because they come up on the thing. I do have one, but sometimes it can disrupt things as well, depending on where I go. But yes, I hear what you're saying. I'll do my best to click on them and stuff like that, get them off. Magical, I've never had any. I also knew he was a Liverpool fan. I think most Blues who are mostly mature have moved on. Fair play. And I think Adrian agrees as well. Hey guys, do you know Eddie Howe is an Evertonian? Really? Is Eddie Howe an Evertonian? Guys, if you knew that, that's my first time. I've never known Eddie's team, because I thought he was always born and raised in like Bournemouth for the South Coast. And someone was saying that his dad was an Arsenal fan. I'd love to know. Is that true? Team season, but Villa made 100 million in revenue. If Newcastle transfers is to just off lower sides, that won't get them to the later stages. And I'm sorry, quality wins over cheap deals for mid teams. It remains to be seen. Just because, like, again, I see what you approach you're taking. I don't think cheap deals necessarily mean bad quality of player. I think, and at the end of the day, it's getting expensive players or playing premium for players what got us into PSR troubles. It's all about getting the quality player for the best price possible. And now it's Aston Villa who are facing some PSR troubles, hence why they're selling players. I don't want Newcastle to be selling our premium players just because they're kind of doing wheeling and dealing every summer. So that's just my thoughts on it. But I see where you're coming from. Check out Libra Wolf browser after your stream. Libra Wolf browser. I'll look into it. Well, appreciate you for that. Really appreciate you for that. He's an Evertonian. Eddie Howe was interviewed for the Everton. Magical says Eddie Howe was interviewed for the Everton job. I didn't want him, which is in hindsight is very funny. Fair play. Adrian Pickett, yes, I've heard Howe mention his blue pass. I didn't know that. I learn something new every day. Right. So I think Newcastle should, going back to the tactical board, I think Newcastle should take a high intensity approach. What I mean by high intensity, I just don't mean running around like headless chickens. I mean to be very upfront. By the way, let me know what you guys think of the starting lineup. So I do think Botman will play. I think we'll play the same kind of personnel and formation-ish as we did against Arsenal and against Chelsea, mainly because I think Kieran Trippier isn't available and a few others. And Botman is. I think Isak will play. I think he was saved for this game. I was hoping maybe Joe Linton will, but hearing some of the comments, this is just me. This is just me kind of guesstimating here, guys. If someone knows for sure, then I'd love to know. But yeah, obviously we've got Everton here who love to have the two in the pivot here. Decore in behind Beto. This is me guessing. I've got Jacob Bryan here, but I've got a question mark on whether he'll play. But I'm going to take Magical's. I'm gonna bow to Magical's. As an Everton fan, his knowledge here, and I'm going to say Jacob. Is it Jacob Bryan's going to play? So I think that will encourage Everton to play out from the back, actually. So I think we'll play with three at the back, or 3-4-3 with Shaw, Botman, and where's Burn? Here's Burn, Botman in the middle of the back three, Murphy, essentially a wing back as a right wing back, Livramento as a left wing back with Isak. I'm going to say Isak's going to play. If not, it's going to be Wilson. But I think Isak will play with Tonali and Bruno making up the two pivots. What's going to be key in this game is going to be our ability to push Everton back and ensure that they're not able to play or try to press, because Everton will try to obviously play out from the back as they have been doing under Moyes, but try and force them into an error and capitalize on that as we did against Chelsea when Tonali took the ball off Lavia. So you see that three in the back here. Obviously, Beto will probably be staying up, but it's important to try and get him isolated, force the Corey back. So you will see essentially. So I think Murphy will try and, as did, for instance, Jones and who was playing on the other side. I think it was Robertson for Liverpool. Keep the width here with Murphy in Livramento. So Young, for instance, here, who I think is going to be playing instead of Seamus Coleman, has got a choice: either drop in and support O'Brien with Gordon, or come out to Livramento. And Dyche will also have to be forced to come back here, either ignore Livramento and risk having Young here in a 2-versus-1 situations and have their backline overloaded, or Ndiaye will have to follow Livramento back. This would allow, this will again push the Everton line further back here. And Newcastle will try to create, as we always try to do through these flank situations, as we always try to do, but I think it's going to be very, very important. First, before I get to the flanks, so we're going to get Bruno matching up against Ghana, Tonali matching up against Gay. That's going to be a good old tussle. And I think what Botman and Byrne have been doing a lot recently. I don't know if you guys have, I'm sure you guys, some of you guys have noticed, is like sometimes you see Byrne pushing right up, sometimes even joining the front line and kind of adding his aerial ability and just trying to help overload the back lines. What you get is Byrne pushing up like this. Sometimes you get Tonali dropping in between the back three, and you get these type of situations. So we're still kind of relatively secure defensively. Otherwise, if Tonali's pushing up, and you get Botman doing the same thing. Botman's really, really good in his 1v1 duels, so they encourage him to push up and do that. So, for instance, Botman will be here in the middle, Byrne here, Shaw here. You get Bruno pushing up against Ghana, Tonali here against Gay. The Corey will try to support them, but then you get Botman here in between the Corey and Beto, making sure those back passing lines are getting blocked, but still kind of also being in a position where he can drop back if needed to. Pope will be near his line, so in case the ball does break and they try to get off to Beto early, there's at least a Shaw and a Byrne, and it'll have to be a really perfect ball for Beto, who's got relatively good pace to get onto. So it would have to be an incredible ball to do that. But like I said, you'll get Botman essentially blocking off these channels here between Beto and the Corey, and you get this really kind of intensive battle going on in the middle of the park, very similar to what Liverpool did in their win. And saying all of that, Liverpool only won 1-0. So Everton, who had very little in possession, were still very resilient in their back line as well. So you're going to get this type of situation where we can match up 1v1s and centrally as well, obviously here as well. But the key part, as Newcastle really like to do, the key part is us in let me take this off, in the flank areas, and trying to, I'll start off with the left. So if we back up a little bit, get Botman back, the key will be trying to get these type of overloads going on, whether it's via Livramento or with Jacob Murphy. So I'll start off to the right, actually, with Murphy, because that's how that goal kind of happened against Chelsea. So let me get this. So as here, we get it here. Here we go. So Murphy's real key for Murphy here. McNeil's hasn't got blistering pace. So I think Murphy can take some risks here in terms of how far he pushes up. Barnes, I know he's not a fan of going to the right, but I think he's been doing a decent job. Barnes, this encourages either one or two things. If Shaw's got the ball here, with Murphy kind of holding up the line here, McNeil has to try and be there to try and block off passing lanes, for instance. Mikalenko will either have to try and come out and meet him, or because of Barnes, he'll have to follow Barnes, for instance. So Barnes will be doing either one or two things here, and that is either drop with Murphy holding up the line here. You have this type of situation where Barnes will probably drop in a bit central here to try and overload the lines. Tonali will threaten to push up as well, forcing Gay to come back. You see Isak lurking, so you get these. They'll be trying to cause some overloads here. So either McNeil will have the job of either trying to block the passing lanes, or try and double up on Murphy, or go out to meet Shaw. He'll have to make up his mind as to which one he's going to do. But if he goes out to meet Shaw, we know Shaw's got the quality to get the ball off to Tonali or to Murphy, and you get then you'll start getting these situations where you get these two versus one situations against Mykolenko, for instance, or you get Tonali also adding in terms of making runs from the midfield and causing these overloads of Guehi having to follow and creating further gaps as well. So it's going to be very, very interesting to see how Everton respond to this. What's going to be their how are they going to react to this? But the key is going to be trying and get these type of situations where you can cause these 1v1 situations. Does Tonali run in and further flood the box or crowd it out, but then he encourages Guehi to follow him? Or does he stay on the periphery? Guehi still has to watch him, but if Murphy goes out on the flank here and Barnes drops in centrally, you've got this gap here. And Shaw has got the quality to get it out to him. So McNeil will have a choice. Do I block Murphy, the pass to Murphy, but then risk getting the ball off to Barnes and Barnes getting into these kind of gaps here? Or do I try and block off the passing lane to Barnes and the ball goes out to Murphy? And then you get these type of situations where 1v1s. Guehi's going to be important to that. If Guehi then comes and tries to block Barnes and McNeil and Mykolenko goes out to block Murphy and McNeil goes out to Shaw, it leaves Tonali open. He will leave Tonali open, and then the ball goes out to Tonali, and then he's got a choice here, and then you got Isak. He's either got a choice to get the ball off to Isak in a 1v1 against Keane. Yeah, I back Isak all day. This will be a cause for concern for Everton as well. And or if, for instance, if they leave Barnes alone and he tries to double up on Isak, he leaves Barnes alone. So Newcastle will be constantly trying to create these type of spaces and these type of overloads as well, whether on the right or on the left as well. So if we see on the left here, let me get this highlighted. Newcastle will be trying to cause these type of situations as well with Livramento. Now, Livramento is a bit different to Jacob Murphy because Livramento is a good ball carrier. So Livramento can get the ball up to the touchline as well and force Young to follow him, getting Dyche in these type of situations as well. And he would try to cut across and get the ball into the box as well, or to Gordon and others. Or, again, very similar here, you're going to get these type of matchups. You've got Garner and Bruno. Gordon will have a choice in terms of where he's going to drop in. Is he going to drop in centrally, or is he going to follow Livramento along as well, where they kind of create these overlaps as well? Maybe Livramento tries to pretends to, what he sometimes does is kind of feint to go central and does a reverse ball to Gordon. He allow Gordon to drive into the box. And I imagine Gordon with Gordon's pace causing, the 38, 39-year-old Ashley Young all sorts of problems. And I think that'll be another key where Newcastle will be this is another option actually, where Newcastle will be trying to isolate Ashley Young or Seamus Coleman, but I think it'll be Ashley Young in 1v1s with Gordon. So sometimes, as we have seen previously, you see Livramento dropping in central, maybe matching up to Ndeye, and having Ndeye to try and obviously take care of Livramento with Bruno up against Barnes. Obviously, everybody else pushing up as well. Isak will probably drop in as well just to be a menace and keep Jacob O'Brien occupied, whilst the ball goes out to Gordon in these type of situations, and you'd want him to be isolated in these type of positions with Ashley Young. I think that's going to be the big bit, or wherever Seamus Coleman, I think it'd be Ashley Young. And this is where I think Gordon has an opportunity. Although I don't think he needs to do this, but he may feel it, and to some of the fans he may feel it, is to redeem himself in terms of for some of the past performances. And then Gordon has the opportunity to really use his pace to get past Ashley Young. Ashley Young isn't averse to giving fouls away, sometimes penalties away. And this is where there'll be an opportunity for either Gordon to drive into the penalty box and for people, and we've been really, really good at getting people into the box as well. We'll either cutbacks to Isak or to Barnes, Murphy, even anybody else following up, whether it's a Livramento or a Bruno and others. So that's going to be key. These type of situations, isolating their fullbacks, is going to be absolutely key. This allows us also to be relatively keep a relatively good defensive backline, whether it's Burn, for instance, pushing up, and like I said, Tonali dropping back, and keeping Everton at bay. But I think an intense and direct and intentional start from Newcastle is going to be very, very key, with key battles between Gordon and Ashley Young, or Livramento. Ashley Young, Livramento being occupying Ashley Young or Ghana, and on the right side, the and also on the right side in terms of Murphy, Mikolenko, McNeil, Tonali. How much does McNeil want to run? Hopefully, McNeil doesn't want to run too much in the final game of the season and just gives it up. And this will allow, obviously, Barnes and others to kind of overload their back lines as well, and hopefully get in on the action in terms of getting shots away, crosses away, and everything else. So some really key situations here. Everton will play very narrow in the middle, but the key will be to try and isolate their fullbacks and get in as much crosses and shots off as well, and try to get, like I said, Gordon in 1v1 situations against Ashley Young, Murphy, or Barnes as well, be key in terms of getting themselves in situations where they can overlap the back line. Isak in 1v1 situations against Keane, especially. I back him to really, as he really hurt Everton in the past, and hopefully get some joy in terms of goals in this game. So let me know what you guys think. I'm going to give my score predictions after I read the chats. Guys, do send in your score predictions, and hopefully I'll be able to get off at least one scouting report, maybe two, depends how well we do for time. But I'll give my score predictions in a moment. First, I want to see what you guys are saying in the chats. And guys, thank you as always for joining and all your engagement. Please do like, share, and subscribe. Let me get some water as I read this off. Do send in your score predictions if you haven't already. Magical, I see nothing but 3 points for the Toon. Fair play, Magical. Appreciate you sending in your and being being honest with your predictions. Team season, Philip. Something depends on who scores first. And if it's at plays, maybe we can win. And what I mean is, apart from Mbeumo, the rest. Apart from Mbeumo, the rest, Gehi and other, are not improvements on our starting 12. We need to move on. It depends on who scores first. If it's at plays, maybe. Okay, we can win. And apart from Mbeumo, the rest. Oh, so you don't rate Gehi and the others. Okay, fair play. Let me know who you do rate. It'd be interesting to know. But appreciate for that team season. Jog, Adrian. Oh no, okay, guys, talking amongst yourselves there. Let's see, team season. Philip, do you see Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool buying players just to get cheap deals from lower teams? Yes. They bought Alvarez for 17 million, Man City. Liverpool bought, like I said, Robertson for about 12 million. They bought I can't remember how much they bought Mo Salah for at the time, but they make a lot of cheap deals. They bought McAllister for 40 million on a release clause from Brighton all the time. That's their MO, really. Yeah, so I do see that. Aaron Kane, I think the backline should be Tino, Shaw, Botman, and Bernat left back. Ideally, Burn isn't playing there, but having that left-footed balance first time balls into the channels will be beneficial. I certainly agree with that. And sometimes him and Botman interchange, really. They both got left foots. Wilbur Jog talking amongst yourselves. Good to see that. Team season, our bench is so bad it costs us a lot in games. We have no rotation to keep the press. We do have a limited rotation, yes, for longer. Hence why in the second half we are so bad. We are out of ideas and effort. I want European gems coming in. Okay, fair point, fair comments there from yourself. Adrian Pickett, Robert Jog. I think the way our negotiations are going, we'll have something sorted before the window shuts. I hope so too. Robert Jog, if it's true, how is a blue low-key would be mad funny if it comes out that he has an Arteta Everton jersey. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. Gosh, there's a lot of chats here. Gordon, I think, which I'm grateful for. Gordon, I think, should be benched. Sorry, Aaron Kane. Gordon, I think, should be benched. His record against Everton and his general performances doesn't merit a start, in my opinion. Barnes, Murphy, and Isak is fit, should be our starting front three. Wow. That would be a major call if Gordon is benched for this game. Interesting. Fair. Aaron Kane, but I also think Barnes shouldn't be shoehorned to the right. Either option doesn't work as shown throughout the season. This is why we need to play a 4-3-3. Who would play right back though? Unless you want to play Kraft at right back, I kind of hesitate to do that. I hesitate to do that. That's my only thing. Okay, so got a couple more chats before we get to the scouting reports. Aaron Kane, age. Okay, you guys talking amongst yourselves there. Good. Playing Burn, Aaron Kane, playing Burn is a risk we should do, in my opinion. And dire pace is an issue in transitions, but Botman can come up and sweep that up. Burn can play that first time pass to Barnes, who would be 1v1 with Young. Yeah, but I think Gordon is better in 1v1s than Barnes as well. But yeah, either would do. You know, Ash Young is aging, and we should be either one should be able to do a job. Team season, Philip Gordon has offers nothing this season. If running is a skill, I'll put my dog on the pitch. Gordon has no goals in him, and that's his job to create and score. Gordon will not help against Everton. He did get 20 plus goal contributions, goals and assists last season. He's got, I don't know, between 10 and 15 this season. He hasn't had the best season, but it's a bit of a drop off, but that's okay. Running is a skill because if you can't run, no matter how talented you are, you can't be a footballer. And I think Gordon's a little bit more than that as well. I'm not with this whole thing that just because a player hasn't played for a little performed well, that all of a sudden people are entertaining offers for him. They don't think he's great. People are entitled to their opinions, but maybe because I have a lot more good, like positive memories, and I do of players. I don't. It takes me a while to kind of just change my mind on players just like that. And I think this will be an opportunity for him to redeem himself. It's St. James's Park, and I back him to do the business, in my opinion. All right, Aaron Kane, I think the beauty of having Botman back is Tonali doesn't necessarily have to screen the back four. Yes. Hence why you saw him closing down Lavia like that. As much as Botman is in elite anticipation and 1v1 defending is going to be so crucial next year. I totally agree with that, Aaron. Jog, I searched online and most pages say 4-4-2 diamond is the recommended format to face a 4-2-3-1. Everton formation, thoughts on, and if any of you ever played with a diamond 4-4-2. So who would you have? Like, who would be at the tip of a diamond? So would you have Bruno advanced, Tonali sitting deep, and who would be on the left? Gordon with... No, it wouldn't be Gordon. I know who'd be on the left. Let me know how you'd set that up. But interesting, though. I just don't know if we've got the personnel to play that, though. That's my only thing. That's why I feel like Eddie Howe will stick to this, in my opinion. Let me read a few more chats before we get onto the. I'll give my score predictions and we get into the scouting reports. Bobby Fairview and Day is a quality player. Oh, sorry. I missed Adrian there. Oh, I missed Bobby Fairview as well. I missed a few there. Sorry, guys. I missed a few of you guys there. Bobby Fairview, what's the latest on Joe Linton? Is he fit to start? Well, last thing Howe said is that Joe Linton is really trying to start, but he's not confident that he will. So that's why I haven't put him on. I think if Joe Linton is fit, he might be tempted to play 4-3-3, but without Trippier and Kraft not really been, I think he'd want to get the best out of Jacob Murphy on that right side, whether it's as a right wing forward or as a wing back or wing, a right winger. That's why I think he might play the same formation as he did against Chelsea and Arsenal. Adrian Pickett, last time he played the Diamond was under Bruce against Everton. I don't know what I don't know what he did. How was the result of that game? I'll be curious to know. Bobby Fairview and Day is a quality player. Tonali needs to stick on him. Yeah, we have to take them seriously. Bobby Fairview, Everton has nothing to play for. Easy Newcastle 3-0. I love that scoreline. Appreciate you, Bobby, for sending that through. A great question from Adrian Pickett to you, Bobby. How are you feeling about your game? Mighty Win. Good to see you, Mighty Win. God bless you, sir. 5-2-3. Unless J7 is fit. Okay. Yeah. I think if Jordan is fit, that will change. Like proper fit. I bet Bobby doesn't miss Cisse. Cisse? Oh, right. Yeah. I was thinking of Liverpool Cisse. I was going to say Bobby's a Chelsea fan. The Mighty Win. Goals never had a break for 3 years. Quite right, Philip. There. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. I think he's been brilliant. I'm so surprised people like entertaining 80, offers from Arsenal. Like sometimes you don't know how good something is until it's gone, and I hope that's not going to be the case for us. Everton back in a 4-4-2 is woefully weak. Yeah, Magic, who's an Everton fan, said, "Look, we barely have any defenders available." Aaron Kane 4-3-3. Tino right back. Okay, Burn left back. Oh, okay. Joey in or Willock. I can't play Willock. In this game. I don't trust Willock in this game. But I see where you're coming from. Or Joe Linton, obviously, if Joe Linton's fit. And Barnes at left wing with Isak, even if he's fit, not starts. And yeah, you're putting and you're benching Gordon. Fair play. It sounds fairly balanced, Aaron. Wilbur base to Tonali left, Willock right. Tonali left. Oh, right. In the Diamond, Tonali left. He does play left against for Italy. Willock right. Longstaff tip of the Longstaff isn't going to be playing in this game. Longstaff, I think you're trying to. Yeah, Longstaff isn't going to be playing this rugby. I know you're trying to sabotage us or something. He's not going to. I didn't mean it like that, but I just think I don't think that helps us win the game. Adrian Pickett, we won. Right. So my score prediction for this game is I do think Howe's going to stick to the formation he's been playing the last couple of games. I do think psychologically, emotionally, and how we've handled high pressure games, League Cup finals, the 6-pointer against Chelsea. I caught you out there, Wilbur Jog. I do think that we've been handling high pressure situations really, really well. I'm backing our crowd to handle those high pressure situations really, really well. So whether they hear, Chelsea take the lead, Man City take the lead, whoever takes the lead, and people are going to be seeing Newcastle up and down the league tables. If the scoreline remains, they'll know to keep calm as much as you can and just continue to back in the team, supporting the team, and getting us over the line. We will get over the line. I agree with Bobby Fairview. I think we'll win this game. And I think we'll win this game 3-0. I think with all the hype and everything people will try to put on it, Eddie Howe will keep the boys calm. We've got good quality. We've got good players. Everybody wants to get to the Champions League. and I think we'll do it. I believe Newcastle will win this game 3-0. Right, so I want to move on to some scouting reports. I'll probably we'll see how it goes. But I want to first start off with this article from Mr. Mark Douglas. Where is it? Here we go. Now, you folks know what I always tend to say about Mr. Mark Douglas from the Iron newspaper, because I try to give as much background as I can in terms of the authors of these articles. Up to this point, Mr. Mark Douglas is the only journalist so far who's been able to get Paul Mitchell to have a sit down with Paul Mitchell, obviously outside of the club, the club reporters, and have an hour and a half, 2-hour conversation with him about all things Newcastle. And it is my belief that a lot of the contacts that Mr. Douglas has in Newcastle are from the Paul Mitchell's camp or people in and around him. So I kind of take the information as that. So the player I'm going to look at is Jarrell Hato, or if Hato. Some of you guys would have heard of him. I've just recently heard of him. I'm not going to say I've watched like 10 games. I don't think I've watched one game of him, to be honest. I'm quite heavily reliant on you guys, but also on the scout reports and everything that I'm reading on here. He's some of the scout reports are saying that he's a world-class talent, which is interesting to hear. So I'll be really keen to get you guys' thoughts on this. But I want to first give a foundation to how Mark Douglas has mentioned Hato in this article, because all the subsequent reports that have come of Newcastle linked to Hato, Newcastle win for Hato, Newcastle are watching Hato, has come from this report. And obviously, in order to be able to get clicks and likes, I don't think people are keeping to the context, because if you read the full context of the report, maybe you're not going to get as many clicks onto your article. So I can't remember. This is a question and answers. Mr. Douglas has done a Q&A. I can't remember what the question was. So he's answering a question, I think, around Newcastle's defensive recruitment. This is what he says. Good question, and yes, it certainly would. Newcastle centre-back recruitment has been beset by problems spanning over a year now. They have missed out on Tosin Adarabioyo, Mark Gahey, and Abdulkadir Kusanov. Yes, very true. And now Dean Huijsen, as they look to bring in a really good pacey centre-back who is at the right age. So we've got some profile and some criteria. Pacey centre-backs at the right age. I think they will finally get their man this summer, says Mr. Douglas. Make sure you guys can see that. Yes, you can. And they will be pushing hard for Gahey. So that's the number one. That's the number one guy. Mark Gahey is still very much number one priority. Bournemouth's, I think there's a number of number one priorities. Bournemouth's Ilya Zabani, who I was going to do a profile. I don't know if I'm going to get opportunities to do a scout report on him today, but at least it gives me a chance to read up on him properly. Bournemouth's Ilya Zabani is another they are keen on. And watch out for Jarrell Hato, Ajax's in-demand 19-year-old. He is coveted by a few Premier League clubs, and Newcastle are among the pack. So there's the second, and the second. So that's the first paragraph. He adds on to that. I'm going to go to that, to the second paragraph as well, because it's quite important to tie into that. He first wants to make sure that everybody knows that, hey, he's in demand. Newcastle aren't aren't the only ones there. So there's a stiff competition. I think it's Chelsea. Bobby Fairview will be aware of this. Chelsea are quite keen on him as well. And then there's a second paragraph that qualifies this further. It wouldn't be a surprise if, after spending big money on a centre back, right? Newcastle did look for a project player, of which I think Hato is. So I think there's the indirect inference there is talking about Hato as a project player, but also not being seen as a centre back because he's not a centre back, he's a left back. And we'll talk about him. Player who can play across the back line, which Hato can do towards the end of the summer. Given his reputation for sourcing potential, that is where director Paul Mitchell's abilities should really come to the fore. So the context is Hato's been mentioned. So as hey, don't be surprised if this if you know you hear Newcastle going for Joe Hato, but there's a couple of conditions here. After they get their centre back, whether it's a Ilya Zabani or a Mark Gahey, if Newcastle get those guys, then Newcastle will also be looking at a a a a project player who can play across the back line, of which Mr. Hato is, and he's also been seen as a project player. He's not seen as a first team starter. He's not seen as a the answer to our backline problems. He's very much seen as a project player, which leads us on to obviously kind of this. That's the context of where we are with Hato. He's not B centre back target, the person that's going to partner like the first teamer essentially that's going to be partnering Botman next season, hopefully in the Premier League, but also in the Champions League. So I wanted to lay out that context there for Hato. So in that end, there's a lot of players, a lot of teams looking for him. So let's get a little bit of context and background to Mr. Hato here. As you guys can see here, yes, you can. Right, so he turned 19 in March the 7th. He was born in Rotterdam in the Netherlands. He's from Holland. From Netherlands or Holland, whatever it is. Both names are true, isn't it? In Rotterdam, he plays also for Ajax. We will see in a moment. He's been at Ajax for a while. This year, he's made 31 appearances for Ajax. He scored 2 goals with 6 assists. That's pretty impressive for a fullback. And you can see here, main position is at left back, but although he can play in the central areas as well. His height is about 1.82 meters, which is about 5'10", 5'9" So he's not, hence why he's not probably seen as a centre back. I think he's about the same height as Mark Gahey, to be honest. And here's those dreaded adverts that that Wobodog mentioned. Now he's left-footed, and he's obviously he joined in 2023. His contract expires, and he joined the first team in 2023. He didn't join Ajax in 2023. He's been there a lot longer. He has more adverts, and his contract runs out in 2028. So if currently valued by a transfer market at 30 million euros, roughly 20-25 million pounds. Interested clubs is Chelsea. So there's a big interest from Chelsea, and transfer market got Chelsea as 53%. This is probability of having a 53%, which is pretty impressive. He's been playing for the Ajax. For he's an international player who's actually debuted for the senior Netherlands team in 2023. He would have been like 17. That's pretty impressive. So he's been playing since the under 16s here, and the adverts are annoying. 2021 to obviously 2023. He's only been 16, 17. Then he skipped 18, 19 by the looks of it. Went straight from the 17s to the under 21s, and then to this Holland senior team, which is a bit of an indicator there of his ability. He sounds like this is coming across like he's got a lot of ability for him to be able to do that. Now, he's been at Ajax since 2018, which means he would have been there since he was about 12 years old, 11, 12 years old. Coming from the Sparta youth to the Ajax youth, and then obviously going for the under 17s, 18s, skipping 19, 20s, going to the under 21s, and before now kind of having his first full season this year with the Ajax team in the Eredivisie, where he has played 2,500 minutes, 31 games with 2 goals and 6 assists in his first full season. He's also been playing in the Europa League, where he's played 11 games. Again, impressive with 881 minutes there. Europa League qualifying as well. He's been integral in that. He's been very integral in the game. 6 games there. And in the Toto KMV Becker, I'm going to assume that's one of their cup teams. So he's played, this year he's played 4,100 minutes. He's played as many minutes as Dan Burn has, which is really, really good. So he's got really good pedigree here. Like, he's a fully fledged international at the age of 19. He's been skipping age groups in terms of his academy, in terms of the academy. So he sounds and is coming across as someone who's clearly very, very gifted. So I've got a scouting report here from the guys at TFA. I always forget their full name. It's so annoying. I read from these guys so many times. Let me make sure if I got the full scout report. It's not this. Is it this one? No, it's not this one. It's not TFA. Where is it? It was somebody else. I had a more fuller scouting report. I had one when he was 17 because I want to know why he's so good and why they rate him. I've got a more fuller one. Let me get it for you guys. I had a more fuller one. I've only got the first parts of this. Okay, let me get the first part of this. It's annoying because I was subscribed to TFA. But I'll get the first part of it. That's annoying. And then I'll get a full scout report of his under 17 when he was 17 years old. So this is from make sure you guys can see this. Yeah, you can. No, I'm gonna mess up that name. Domojag. This is in October 2024. So he would have been around 18. So who is Joro Hato? Okay, so finding a new talent at Ajax used to be a given. The Dutch Titans Footballing Academy has been among the most prominent places for next big things in sports for years. It's true. And then we've got Mr. The Proof is Joro Hato, the 18-year-old prodigy climbing the ranks, and he has been climbing the ranks very quickly in the Dutch football and already Triton Premier League leagues such as Arsenal. This is a year ago. So who is exactly Joro Hato and how good is he? The technical analysis will give you a full scout report on who Hato is. So Joro Hato's style of play. Joro Hato is an 18-year-old Dutch centre back. So they describe him as a centre back, interesting. Currently playing for Ajax. Standing at 1.83 centimeters, weighing 76 kilograms. The young defender has a stocky build with an excellent dueling frame, albeit one that he is still very much growing. He is a left footer and now almost mostly deployed on the left side of the pitch, either slotting in as a left centre back or even at a left back at times. In the current season, Hato has played just under 1,000 minutes. That's increased dramatically this season. He's played 4,000 minutes this season across all competitions, including the domestic league. However, since this data is relatively scarce, we've decided to show his 23-24 campaign. This is what he was doing when he was 23-24. And you can see from here, the points where he most excels at is accurate passing, 75% out, 79% out for passes per 90, 75% out for received passes per 90. So he's got real technical quality on the ball. 94% out for dribbles per 90. So really, really impressive there in terms of his dribbles. But there are areas that he needs to work on when we're looking at defensive side of things. He's got 78 defensive duels, 78% off for defensive duels, which is good. Although he's at 50% for defensive duels won, it's not bad. He would have been very, very young, to be fair to him. 11% at aerial duels won, hence why he's a left back. If he's getting 11% duels won in the Ajax league, but to be fair, he's young. But aerial duels 1% is at 40%. So aerial duels isn't great for him. positioning 48%, which I imagine is going to improve the older he gets. So his main strengths are he's a player that's comfortable on the ball, used to receiving the ball and distribution of passes. I want to get a full report of him, a scout report of him. I'll show you guys as well. But let me know what you guys think of him so far. I'm gonna see what you guys are saying in the chat. Hato. Here we go. Scout report. I had one from when he was 17, which is only 2 years ago, to be fair. And you get a bit of a clearer view. So, by the way, his pass completion has even improved even more this season. Where are his scout report? Here we go. Jaro Hato. This is from Football Talent Scout. I love these guys. And this is from Jacek Kulik, one of my favorite scouting reporters. So this is when he was 17, and he was already playing in the under 21s for Ajax. Excuse me, he was 16. Goodness gracious, he was 16. So this is 2-3 years ago. Playing for the Netherlands. He was playing for Netherlands under 17s at this site. At this time as well. He's been compared to, in terms of player profile, to a Lucas Hernandez at that time, which is interesting. Strength, pace, tackling, athleticism, anticipation, tenacity, positioning. This is obviously in the under 16 as a 16-year-old. Aerial duels is strong, technique is strong, passing is strong, versatility is strong. He needs to improve. This is at 16, 17. Quite strong in the air, but I still see a big margin. He still needs to improve that part. Concentration can get caught ball watching sometimes, and that's shown in his positioning. So style of play is a complete and dominant centre-back. So you can see some really good raw attributes here for him as well. And I think you can see why Arsenal are interested in him, Chelsea are interested in him. He's a player with excellent body mass ratio. They talked about it in 2 years later as well. That's continued to. So he's going to be a guy that's going to continue to grow. Physical strength, power, stamina, natural fitness, who feels comfortable in contact situations. He's able to play as a left-sided centre-back in a 3-man defence system, which it could be something that Newcastle are beginning to work on more and more. We see Lewis Hall doing that for us. Forceful, quick and powerful, prefers an active style of defending by getting into challenges and pressing opponents. So if you're a team that wants to be high intensity and press from the front, he's your guy. Able to play in a high defensive line, hence able to play in a high defensive line, thanks to his pace, reactivity, positioning, and reading of the game. So he's very comfortable on the ball, or takes a major impact on all teams' build-up process. And Newcastle are a build-up team. Known for his good timing, confidence in possession, understanding the game, and above average technical capacity. So it's not great at 16, 17. Quiet, composed, doesn't like to take unnecessary risks under pressure, likes to make sliding tackles, likes to move forward with the ball at his feet, and assess options on the move. I'm thinking Arsenal have backed away, or maybe aren't as interested because they've got Skelly. It just made me think. It just reminds me of Lewis Skelly a little bit from this description. Cultured passer with proclivity for breaking lines with intricate vertical balls. Eddie Howe would love that. Tenacious and accurate tackler in 1v1 duels. Very strong player who knows how to use his body to gain advantage, win over physical duels. Defends very well in wide areas, which is important for us, especially when you're pressing high. Positively aggressive. Cuts, intercepts, passes. Determined and committed player. Technically astute. Charismatic player. Good leadership skills. That's interesting. So I'd love to go through this. So you can see his heat map here, very much predominantly on the left side. Central defender in a 4-3-3 for the under 16s, though. That's interesting. So he can play in that position. And they got a few highlights there. So what do they say? So this is how they describe him in 2023. Remember, charismatic leader, that's interesting. So Jaro Hato joined the famous Ajax Amsterdam Youth Academy from Sparta Rotterdam in 2018. He is considered to be one of the most talented teenagers in the Netherlands. He's one of the leaders of a very interesting generation of under 18s, which includes a number of players here. On October 2022, Giroud scored an amazing solo goal against Napoli in the UEFA League. He made his professional debut for Young Ajax in the Eredivisie away game against Struyk. He made his first team on the 2020. He made the first team in 2023 when he was 17 in a Dutch Cup against Den Bosch at the age of 16, 10 months, and 4 days he became Ajax's fourth youngest debutant ever. So clearly he's got a talent that far exceeds his age. And look at his football talent scout and rating is 9 out of 10. Usually the scout report guy doesn't give those out for free. So you must be very impressed by him. And he says, player has the potential to become a key player in a top European club, which is what Newcastle are trying to be. So I'm going to show a few video highlights of him if I can get him. I can, but before I do that, I'm going to see a few of you guys. It's one in 2023. Which one do I want to show? 2 weeks ago. So let's see this. Oops. We'll get onto there in a moment. So let me see what you guys are saying in the chat. Apologies if I'm rushing a little bit. It's only because of time and everything. And I don't want you guys to miss work. Adrian Pickett, Howe likes the players so well drilled in the system. I can't see us making such a radical change. As soon as we are able to make... Yes, Aaron Kane. See, we're also in for Malik Chow again. Yeah, that's interesting. Milan missed out on Europe, would be the perfect player for our backline. Do you though worry though, Aaron, that I don't know if his passing, maybe it's changed, but from what I can remember, his passing range isn't quite the same as Shah's. I don't know if that's changed, or do you think we necessarily need someone of that profile? So, Aaron Kane, I like this description. You make me like Hato even more. Hato is very much like a Gvardiol from City, very good on the ball and definitely has the potential to be elite. Will likely be a Kelly replacement. Interesting. I like that description. Aaron Kane, Hato would be like signing Hoyson before he went to Bournemouth. Okay, yes, I like that. He's really good, got the potential to be that good or even better. Interesting. Let's see if we can beat Chelsea to him. Let me know, Bobby Fev, if you're there, if you think we can do that. Hato is a young timber leader. He's a captain at 18. I thought he'd be a captain. Versatile, huge potential. Just needs time to develop physically for EPL and previous dueling from what I've seen. I wonder if we'll buy him and loan him back, or to loan him to see him develop. Wilbur Philip, team season. Philip, the problem with signing Hato is the Newcastle slow action to put up money for young talent. Somehow may sign him before us, like the Hoyson mistake we made last season. Someone wasting time on Gahey. I think we'll be a little bit more different this time with Paul Mitchell at the beginning of a transfer window. And I don't know in terms of how slow, of how quick we are. Hato, for instance, there's a lot of teams lining up for him, like Chelsea, Arsenal. And I'm not surprised. I think Liverpool might have been linked to him as well. And I'm not surprised from everything I'm reading up about him at the moment. Team season, Hato is a left side centre back. We won't sign him unless we need a cover for Botman. I think we'll sign him if we can, because either Botman or for to rotate or compete with Hall. I think maybe he's a year or two away from being EPL ready though. So if we can get him, it would be really good. Adrian Pickett, has anyone kept track of Alex Murphy's loan? But he'd cover the same position. He would. That's a great call to Adrian. I've been in and out in terms of tracking him. From what I've seen a couple of months ago, he was doing okay. I don't know how he is now. And I'll be very curious, like you, Adrian, if he gets into the first team into the next season. So let's So that's a really good call, Adrian. So let's get a butchers of Mr. Hato. It's my first time watching him as well. So you're getting a bit of a live reaction from me on him. So this is from 2 weeks ago. So I'm going to assume he is his age now, like he's 19, 18 at the moment, playing for the Ajax senior team, really climbing very quickly through the ranks, charismatic, leadership skills, how loves the type of players. Um, Strong there in the 1v1 duels, barge the guy off the field. They did say like slide tackle. Oh, excellent ball delivery with that left foot. That's a fantastic ball delivery. 1v1 duels there. Pause there. 1v1 duels, good in the 1v1 duels again. Again, he does love a slide tackle. Great athleticism, clearing the ball off the line there. Similar to Van de Ven last night. Oh gosh, was that him? That's a brilliant take there. So he's got some, you can see why he's getting goals. That header showed some determination there. He's got a good low center of gravity. It's partly why I think he's so good at tackling. Good 1v1 there on the right flank as well. Good blocking there. Seems strong. Good. He's not afraid. That's fantastic. Really good in the 1v1 duels. I am curious to see how he'll do in the Premier League, but again, he's so young. I'm not surprised that he's climbed the rankings so quickly, and he's even missed a couple year groups in the internationals and in the Ajax squad there. He seems very, very kind of strong, composed, good line breaking passes there with that left foot of his. It'd be great to have him and Lewis Hall competing and seeing how they're doing. Good anticipation there. Really, really finds himself in the 1v1 situations. And it doesn't matter how high up the pitch he is. And you can see why he'll be good in the high defensive line as well. Looking impressive right high up. Someone said that he can play invert, like if you want inverted fullbacks, he's your guy. And he looks good at inverting. Look at that. Great anticipation, last minute tackle. He even he scanned to the right before he did that, so making sure that he doesn't kick it towards another position player. Done really well there. Great parts. He's got 6 assists, and you can see why he gets into the box really well. He looks impressive. I'm not going to make too much of a certain judgment on him as I've already watched the highlights, but he looks impressive. It's interesting that he was mentioned by Mr. Douglas, but let me know what you guys think before we wrap up the show. I'd be keen to see what you guys are saying. Aaron Kampf, with the games we have next season, we need players who are versatile, and have quality. We need the players like Hato who can play, who can develop with the team. Hato, Hall, Livramento, be really, really impressive bunch of players. Newcastle will have to pay about 20-25 million pounds for him, possibly more, depending on the competition. So, Aaron, what do you think? Or what everybody? Do you think Newcastle will do that? Pay that money. Wobojok, we might be in for him if Arsenal, meaning Arsenal, we being Arsenal for the folks aren't cute, who aren't aware, we might be in for him if we manage to sell Zinni and Kivio. Oh, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. That makes sense. We are short on left back, believe it or not, especially with Tierney leaving too. Okay. Where does Skiddy play? Doesn't Skiddy play left back as well? That still might not be enough though. Team season, Philip, did you see we are linked to a Croatian centre mid? I did. I might go back to him, but I wasn't sure about the link. Like it seemed like we're scouting him, and I can't remember where I saw it from. If you've got a better link or like the source of the link, I will follow up. I just wasn't sure about the link or how real it was because it seemed like we're scouting him, or I wasn't sure. The report that I saw didn't seem very. It didn't seem enough for me to bring on the show. But if you got a better link, I'll definitely follow up and get it and get your and do a scout report on him next. But it's interesting. Wobojog, forget Skelly forgot Skelly is probably moving into midfield. His actual position. Well, next season, Lewis Hall's actual position is also in midfield, but we're seeing more and more midfielders who are playing midfield in the academies, young players are playing in the academies in the midfield, slotting back in the fullback areas. And people, I think more and more people are looking to not fullbacks, to have ball playing fullbacks with that kind of level of dynamism and ability on the ball, playing in those areas as well. So I won't be surprised if he stays there, for instance. So you might already have a left back there in Skelly. Aaron Kane, I think we should. Okay, to pay for him 20-25 million, yeah. I think we should, if we can cover multiplayer positions, or if he can cover multiplayer positions, yes. Hall is our only recognised left back, apart from Matt Target, but we're not taking him seriously. And Target is likely moving on, and Kelly has gone. It's a position we need to strengthen as well at RCB. I agree. Can he play right centre back? By the way he looks, I wouldn't be surprised if he could. But yes, makes sense. And I think if you're him, he's so used to climbing the ranks so quickly, I wouldn't be surprised. Newcastle hopefully being in the Champions League, playing 50 plus games. He definitely will get games for us. He'll be impressed by the fact that we really do play youth. We play Ask Hall, Tino Livramento. Miley a little bit less this season. Obviously, last season he was playing a lot more. So he'll know that how Eddie Howe does play the youth. And so he'll have a good chance of playing and rotating. And because he can play, like you said, Aaron, he can play multiple positions. It'll give him more chance of playing in multiple positions on the pitch, but also in the Premier League. So he'll be able to test his skill set and probably cement his plays internationally, especially with the World Cup coming up. But in general, you want players to play multiple positions. Yes, I agree. And he maybe for our centre midfield, if we're looking, maybe Hal might be saying to him, we do need someone. Maybe he can play left midfield. Maybe that's it with Joe Linton. Multiple positions at good quality. It gives the managers. But in general, you want players to play in multiple positions at good quality. It gives the manager better team setup options. I agree with that. Aaron Kane, imagine if Eddie Howe gets a hold of Hato, he would be a monster. Look Hall, Livramento, Gordon, all those guys. There's a lot for Hato to look at and say, wow, Howe really knows how to develop players. I super agree with that. And team season, Philip, we need 6 players this summer. We can't burn out in Europe again and lose top 5 again. I fully agree that I think should Newcastle get Champions League, and I believe we will when Newcastle get Champions League, shall I say. We anticipate that we're going to go deep in domestic cup competitions, probably play 50 plus games that season. I think we'll be fully ready for that. I don't think we'll get 6. Well, actually, I say that you might be right. Team season, though, I think we're going to get between 3 to 5 players. I would like the 5 players: goalkeeper, right centre back, right wing forward, and a versatile midfielder. I would love 5 players, and I'll feel very secure that Newcastle can manage that. So, yeah, that'll be my thoughts on it as well. But guys, we have got at team. That's why I asked if Philip has the running data to check if change setup has that players run less in high intensity. That was a very good question, Wobojog. I don't have the running data. I'd love to have it. But guys, you have been absolutely incredible in this show as always. This is our last match preview, obviously, for the season. We're going to have plenty more to go next season, maybe 50 plus more. God willing, we're in the Champions League and going into the semi-finals and finals of domestic cup competitions. But in the show, we gave our We did our match preview for the Everton game. Lots to chew through there. And I believe Newcastle win 3-0. You guys gave your score predictions. We did a scouting report for the young Jiro Hato, who seems to be like a very, very promising talent. We're very interested to see if Newcastle get him over the line compared to all the other teams we have to compete with. But I think that'll be like a sliding door moment for me. But I'm going to be watching more Ajax games going forward for sure. But make sure, as always, guys, and thank you for sending your last minute score predictions, Darren. There, appreciate you. 3-1. Jog, good luck with the UCL, guys. Appreciate you for that, Jog. But guys, have a great night. As always, folks, look after each other and those that are and yourselves, and take care and God bless, folks.